Hi everyone, this is Reema here, your biology educator from VLearning. So as you know that VLearning is an online educational platform where we strive to provide quality education for all. So to get all the benefits from our channel, do subscribe to it and also don't forget to visit to our website, that is www.v-learning.in, where you will be getting all the pre-recorded videos, the live classes and the PDF notes of all these lessons. So let's begin today's class. So what we are going to learn today, so we are in continuation with the chapter 8, that is cell, which is the unit of life. So in our last class, we have learned about what? We have learned about the various cell organelles, that is the lysosome, vacuoles, Golgi bodies, and also we have learned about what? We have learned about the endoplasmic reticulum, right? So in today's class, we are going to learn another two important cell organelle, that is what? That is mitochondria and plastid, okay? So we are going to learn about mitochondria and plastid. So this is your lecture number 5. So what is this mitochondria? Mitochondria is a cell organelle which is present both in plants as well as in animals, okay? But plastid is present only in case of plant. So in case of animal, this plastid, the cell organelle is absent, okay? Only in case of plant, plastid is present. But in case of, that is mitochondria, is present in case of both animals and plants. Now, this mitochondria, who has discovered it for the first time, okay? And who has coined the term mitochondria? So it was discovered first time by the scientist. His name is known as Colliker. Okay, so his name is known as Colliker. So Colliker is the scientist who has discovered. Okay, he has discovered mitochondria. He has discovered mitochondria in the year that is 1856. Okay, so he has discovered mitochondria in the year 1856. Now later on, another scientist, his name is known as Carl Bender. Okay, so Carl Bender, he has he is the person who has coined the term mitochondria. Okay, he is the person who has coined the term mitochondria. Now, another scientist who has seen mitochondria for the first time, his name is known as Richard Altman. Okay, so Richard Altman, he has seen mitochondria for the first time in the protoplast cell. So, who has seen mitochondria for the first time? That is Richard Altman. He is a scientist who has seen mitochondria for the first time in the protoplast cell. So we said he was examining the protoplast cell, and here he has seen the mitochondria for the first time in the year 1886. Okay, in the year 1886. So this mitochondria is a semi-autonomous organelle. Now, what do you mean by this semi-autonomous organelle? So, semi-autonomous organelles are the organelles, those who can function almost all the activities of the body without the help of others. Okay. So these are the organelles which are having DNA, which are having protein. So they can function all the organelles, all the function without the help of other cell organelles. So they are not dependent on one another. Okay, they are not dependent on one another. So they are known as semi-autonomous. That is, they are semi-autonomous in nature. Okay, that is mitochondria and plastid. They have their own DNA, with the help of which they can produce the protein. Okay, so they can produce protein. They also have ribosome, which helps in the formation of protein. So what are they? They are semi-autonomous. Okay, they are semi-autonomous. So they are yes, they are semi-autonomous cell organelle. Now, this mitochondria and the plastic, it is connected to a evolutionary theory. They are previously considered another prokaryotes. Okay, so endosymbiotic theory, which is the evolutionary theory, it explains that how the mitochondria, it was being eaten up by the eukaryotic cell and it got transferred into the eukaryotic cell organelle. Previously, this mitochondria and plastid were the prokaryotic cell. That's why the number of ribosome in case of the mitochondria and the plastid is 70s. Okay, so the ribosome in case of the mitochondria, the ribosome in case of the mitochondria is 70s because it was considered as what it was previously, the prokaryotic cell. So there is an evolutionary theory related to that, that is known as endosymbiotic theory. So it says that one of the eukaryotic cell, so it has eaten up the mitochondria and the plastid. Okay, so after that it got transferred into what? It got transferred into eukaryotic cell organelle. Previously it was what? It was prokaryotic cell. Okay, that's why the number of ribosome is 70s. So yes. Now, mitochondria is present both in case of plants and animals. So, as I said that it is present where? It is present in, both plants and animals. Okay, both plants and animals. Now, these are the cell organelles which are having the double membrane. Okay, so this mitochondria and chloroplast. Mitochondria and the chloroplast, these two are the double membrane cell organelle. Okay, these are the double membrane cell organelles. So, these are what mitochondria is, a double membranous or double membranous, you can write double membranous cell organelle. Now, what do you mean by this double membranous cell organelle? That means they have got two membrane, right? One is outer membrane and another one is inner membrane. So, see, the mitochondria is having two membrane. What are the two membrane? The two membranes of mitochondria, as you can see in this picture. See, this is written as outer membrane, right? So, this is the outer membrane and inside it, they have another membrane which is known as the inner membrane. So, this green color portion which is showing, it is the inner membrane. So, inner membrane is composed of matrix where the DNA is like, that is the genetic materials are lying in the matrix, and this finger-like projections, okay, this finger-like projections are known as cristae. Singular is crista, okay, and this space between the outer membrane and the inner membrane is called as the intermembrane space, okay, intermembrane space. So let us learn the structure of the mitochondria, how it is. So if I draw the structure of the mitochondria, you know that how the mitochondria looks like, okay. So the structure of the mitochondria. So it has got two membrane, right? One is outer membrane. So see, this is the membrane, okay. So one is outer membrane. So which one is outer membrane? This one is the outer membrane, right? This one is outer membrane, right? This one is inner membrane. So it is inner membrane, okay. Then inside, that is the inner membrane, as I said that it consists of a finger-like, that is the folded projections, isn't it? So the inner membrane, it consists of folded projections, so which is known as cristae, okay, which is known as this folded projections are known as what? Cristae, okay. So this folded structures are known as cristae. Now, inside this, the genetic material, that is the DNA, is present. So, this mitochondria and the chloroplast, they are the cell organelle which have their own genetic material. Clear? So what are the two cell organelles having own genetic material? One is mitochondria and another one is chloroplast. They have their own genetic material, that is DNA. So this is what this is, DNA. Now, this is what this area where the genetic material is present, we call it as matrix. Okay, so this is the matrix or the cytoplasm where the cell where the different cell organelles lies. Now, beside this mitochondria also have what? Also have ribosomes. Okay, they also have ribosomes which are responsible for the protein synthesis. Okay, these red dots are what? These red dots are the ribosomes. So these ribosomes are responsible for the process of protein synthesis. So they are ribosomes. So how many ribosomes they have? As I said that they previously belonged to the prokaryotic groups. So they have got what? They have 70 S ribosomes. So remember, they have 70 S ribosome, not 80 S ribosome. Clear? So see, so this is how the structure of mitochondria looks like. Now, one more thing is they have got what? They have got intermembrane space. So this space between the outer membrane and the inner membrane, what we call it as, this space is called as the intermembrane space. Okay, this space is called as intermembrane space. Clear? Now see, so this is the structure of the mitochondria, right? So it is very, very simple. Okay, so see what you have seen here, everything is present or not. So this is how the mitochondria looks like. Now this mitochondria is present, as you know, it is present both in plants and also in case of animals. Now, as you have seen this finger-like projections, you have seen this finger-like projections, right? This finger-like projections, which are known as what? Which are known as cristae. So, this finger-like projections, they are known as cristae. Now, what is the function of this cristae? So, this cristae is responsible for what? This cristae is responsible for ATP synthesis. Okay, this cristae is responsible for ATP synthesis. Okay, ATP synthesis. So, this cristae is the place where the electron transportation also takes place. So, it is responsible for production of energy. You know, what is mitochondria? You have been studying from the lower class. So, what is the function of the mitochondria? So, the function of the mitochondria is, it is what? It is the powerhouse of the cell, right? It is the powerhouse of the cell. Now, it is a powerhouse of the cell. So, why it is called as the powerhouse of the cell? Because it provides energy to the cell. Okay, it provides energy. Our body needs energy, so it is metabolically active. Okay, it makes the cells metabolically active by providing energy. So it is a powerhouse of the cell because it synthesizes the energy in the form of ATP molecules. It synthesizes the energy in the form of ATP molecule. Now, what is the full form of ATP? The full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate, right? So, the full form of ATP is what? The full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate. Okay, adenosine triphosphate. Now this mitochondria, it is also the site. It is also the site for what? It is also the site for cellular respiration. Okay, it is also the site for cellular respiration. It is responsible for the aerobic respiration. Okay, it is the site for cellular respiration. Now we are talking about what? We are talking about cristae. Okay, so cristae is the place where the ATP synthesis takes place. Okay, where the energy is being produced. Now, how is the structure of the cristae? Okay, so if you look into this structure, okay, so here what happens? Here some particles are present which are in the form of bulb. Okay, so these particles are in the form of bulb. this bulb-like structures are present. Okay, so this bulb-like structures are attached to the cristae, which helps in the electron transportation chain, that is in the Krebs cycle. We will discuss it in the chapter number 14, where we will learn in detail how the electron transportation takes place in the cell. Okay, for now, remember that in the cristae, some particles are present. What are these particles? So some particles are present in the cristae. These particles are nothing but the F0 and the F1 particles. Okay, F0 and the F1 particles. So these are the particles which are present in the cristae, and they help in the synthesis of the ATP molecule. So here also it will be present like this. Okay, so here also it will be attached. Okay, so like this. So this is how the particles are attached. They look like bulb-like structure, right? So they look like bulb. So see, now you can see this structure how it is. So how is the structure of these particles? So these particles are what? What are the two particles I said? One is F0 and another one is F1, right? So these are the two particles. One is F1 particle, sorry, one is F0 particle and another one is F1 particle. So this together they are known as oxysomes, okay? So together this F1 and F0 particle are known as oxysomes. So together, what they are known as? Together, they are known as oxysomes. Oxysome, right? So see, so these particles, how it looks like, what is the structure of this particles? So see, it has got head like this, right? Then it has got base. Okay, so this is how the particles looks like. Now they have got head. So this is head. So see, this is head. Now this is what this is known as cell. Okay, and this is the base. Okay, so this is the base. This is the structure of these particles. So what are the two particles? Remember that F1 and F0 particles are present in the cristae, which is responsible for the synthesis of what? Synthesis of ATP. Okay, so cristae is the place where the ATP is being synthesized. Okay, which is required for the cellular respiration. So this is about it. You understood, right? So yes, now let us move into the next topic. That is, you know that mitochondria is a double membrane cell organelle, right? So it is when stay in this mitochondria, it is not easily seen under the microscope. So this mitochondria is not easily visible under the microscope. So the number of the mitochondria, what is the number of the mitochondria in the cell? All the cells in our body will be having mitochondria, right? But what is the number of this mitochondria in the cells? The number of the mitochondria will vary from one cell to another. So in case of, for example, in case of the sperm cells, okay, so the number of the mitochondria is 25, let's say, okay. In case of the sperm cell, the number of the mitochondria is 25. So the number of the mitochondria also depends that how much energy is being required by the cell. Okay, how much the cell is metabolically active. So the number, it varies. Okay, if the cell is working more and it needs more energy, then the number also will be more. For example, in case of the liver cells, the number of the mitochondria, let's say it will be 500 to 1000. Okay, so it varies from one cell to another. So it depends upon the metabolic activity of the cell, right? It depends upon the metabolic activity of the cell. So what is the number of mitochondria? The number of the mitochondria will vary, okay? Will vary. The number will vary from one cell to another. What is the size of the mitochondria? The size of the mitochondria is generally 0.2 to 0.1, sorry, yes, the size is generally 0. Yes, 0.2 to, yeah, I'm right, 0.2 to 1 micrometer, right? 0.2 to 1 micrometer, isn't it? 0.2 to 1 micrometer. All right, so this is the size of the mitochondria. Clear? Yes. So the number varies, as you know, that depending on the physical activity of the cell. Okay, that means I said that how much the cell is metabolically active. Depending on that, The mitochondria is present in each and every cell of our body. The terms and shape also considerable degree that is vary. The shape also varies from one cell to another. Yes. Now, typically, what is the shape of the mitochondria? The shape of the mitochondria is sausage shape, okay, or cylindrical shape. So, what is the shape of the mitochondria? The shape of the mitochondria, it may be sausage or, okay, or cylindrical or cylindrical shape. So this is how the shape of the mitochondria is. And the diameter is what? The diameter is 0.2 to 1 micrometer. Average is 0.5 micrometer. And the length is 1 to 4.1 micrometer. Okay. Now each mitochondria is double membrane. As you know that mitochondria is a double membrane cell organelle, right? So this mitochondria is what? It is the double membrane. It is a double membrane cell organelle, right? It is a double membrane cell organelle. Isn't it? It is a double membrane cell organelle with the outer membrane and the inner membrane dividing its lumen distinctly into two aqueous compartments, that is the outer compartment and the inner compartment. So as you have seen that it has got two membrane, that is the outer membrane and the inner membrane. So the lumen is dividing the compartments equally into the outer membrane and the inner membrane, right? Yes. So next. The inner compartment is filled with a homogeneous substances which is called the matrix. So as you have seen that the inner compartment is filled with a homogeneous substances that we called as what? That we called as matrix, and the outer membrane forms the continuous limiting boundary of the organelle. So let us look into the diagram of the mitochondria once again. So as you can see in this picture, the inner membrane, what you find in the inner membrane? The homogeneous substances like the DNA and the ribosomes, isn't it? So what we call them? We call them as matrix, right? And the outer membrane, okay, and the outer membrane which is responsible for protection. The outer membrane, it is allowing the molecules to move inside and outside the cell, and also it is providing what? It is providing protection to the cells, right? Yes. So let us continue with the topic. So yeah. The inner membrane forms a number of infoldings. So you have seen that there are a number of foldings, infoldings, which are called as cristae, right? So what are this? These infoldings are known as cristae. In singular, we call it as crista. Okay, singular is we call it as crista, and plural is cristae. Towards the matrix, this cristae increases the surface area. The two membranes have their own specific enzyme associated with the mitochondrial function. So what is this cristae? What is the function of this cristae? The function of this cristae is what? It is responsible for what? It is the place where the ATP synthesis takes place, right? So this is the place where the ATP synthesis takes place. ATP synthesis takes place, okay? So how, and what is another function? Another function is what? It increases the surface area. So it increases the surface. It increases the surface area. So these are the two function of the cristae. Okay. Now, yes, this cristae are how they look like. This cristae are like this, right? These are infolding invaginations which are found in the matrix, isn't it? So these structures, these foldings which we see, they are known as what? They are known as cristae. Okay, these infoldings which you see inside the matrix, these are what? These are the cristae. Clear where they are present? They are present in the matrix, inside the inner membrane. Okay. So this is all about mitochondria. Now let us move into what? Let us move into the function of the mitochondria. So what do you think? What is the function of the mitochondria? We have already learned that from the lower classes, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, right? So we know that mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Why? Because it provides energy to our cell, right? It provides energy in the form of ATP molecules, right? So it provides energy in the form of ATP molecules, and also it is the site for cellular respiration. It is the site for cellular respiration. Now, this mitochondria is also responsible for the process of reproduction, because the sperm cells should contain mitochondria. The acrosome of the sperm cell should contain mitochondria, which helps or which provides mobility to the sperm cells. Okay, so these are all the functions of mitochondria. So it also helps, what it is the site for aerobic respiration, that is the cellular respiration. Okay? It is the site for aerobic or cellular respiration. Now, they produce cellular energy in the form of what? In the form of ATP. Hence, they are called the powerhouse of the cell. Okay. And the matrix also possesses single circular DNA and few RNA molecules. Ribosome is what? Ribosome is 70S. Mitochondria, they have ribosome, that is 70S ribosome. Okay. And in the matrix, what we find? In the matrix, we find the DNA, right? In the matrix, we find the DNA, and also we have seen few RNA molecules and ribosome, and the components required for the synthesis of proteins. So these are very much essential components which are required for the synthesis of what? Synthesis of the protein. Okay, and the mitochondria divide by fission. So it divides by fission. Okay. So this is all about mitochondria, which we have learned. So what we have completed in this mitochondria, we have seen who has discovered mitochondria, right? So that is Collicutt has discovered mitochondria, and also we have seen that who had coined the term mitochondria. This is Carl Bender, right? Carl Bender has coined the term mitochondria. And also we have seen that what is the nature of the mitochondria, like it is semi-autonomous cell organelle. Then what are the two membranes, that is the outer membrane and the inner membrane, and what is the various structure of the mitochondria, right? And at last, we have seen the function of mitochondria. So this mitochondria is one of the very important cell organelle in our body, because it is responsible for what? It is responsible for the production of energy in the cell. It is the powerhouse of the cell, right? So I hope you have understood this mitochondria. Now let us move into the next cell organelle, that is plastid. Now this plastid is present in animals? No, right? It is only present in plants. Okay. So plastids, these are the cell organelles which are present only in plants. Okay. So we will find this plastid where? Only. So these are the cell organelles which are present only in plants. Okay. So these are what? These are the cell organelles only present in plants. Okay. So these are the cell organelles which are present only in plants. Now, what is this plastid? So where you will see this plastids? This plastids, what is the function of this plastids? This plastids provide various pigments to the plants. Okay, what they do? They provide various pigments to the plants. Like one of the plastid is the chloroplast, right? So chloroplast, what it contains? It contains chlorophyll, which is a green color pigment. So as you can see, this is the picture of the chloroplast, right? This is the picture of the chloroplast. So plastid is a cell organelle which provides or which consists of various pigments which are necessary for the functioning of the plant cell. Okay, for the functioning of the plant cell. So as you can see, this is the picture of the chloroplast. Now this chloroplast, it is also known as what? It is also known as the kitchen of the cell. Okay, this chloroplast is also known as what? It is also known as the kitchen of the cell. Okay, kitchen of the cell. Why it is known as the kitchen of the cell? Why it is known as the kitchen of the plant cell? Because it is responsible for preparation of food. So in the leaves contains what? The leaves contains chloroplast, which is responsible for the preparation of food. So let us see the structure of the chloroplast. So where the chloroplast is present? In the mesophyll cells of the leaves. Okay. So if this is a leaf, you know that in the leaves there are various types of cells like the mesophyll cell, palisade cells, right? We have studied when we have you have learned about the chapter number 6, right? Anatomy of the leaf. So there you have seen that the leaves contain various cells, okay? That is the mesophyll cell and the palisade cells. So the mesophyll cells contains what? The mesophyll cells contains the chloroplast, okay? They contains chloroplast. So in the leaves, the mesophyll cell contains what? They contains chloroplast. Now, if we see the chloroplast under the microscope, if you take a leaf and you dissect the leaf and you stain the leaf, sorry, and you see the chloroplast under the microscope, how it will look like. The structure of the chloroplast is like this, okay? The structure of the chloroplast is like this. It is also a double membrane cell organelle. So the chloroplast is also a double membrane cell organelle. So this is also what? Let me write here. This is also double membrane cell organelle. Okay, double membrane cell organelle. Now, the number of the chloroplasts, it might vary from one plant to another. Okay, so the number will vary from one plant to another. For example, Chlamydomonas may have one chloroplast, whereas algae may have 20 to 40 chloroplasts. So the number, it varies from one plant to another plant. Even the size of the chloroplast also varies. Okay, so inside the chloroplast, what you will see, they have got what? They have two membrane. One is outer membrane. So this one is outer membrane. Yes. This is what? This is outer membrane. This is outer membrane. Then this is what? This is inner membrane. This is inner membrane. Okay. Now, what we will see inside the inner membrane? Inside the inner membrane, you will see various thylakoids. Okay, the thylakoids are arranged at piles of coil. Okay, so these thylakoids are called as grana. They are responsible for what? They are responsible for the light reaction in the plant. So, what is the pigment? That is chloroplast contains what pigment? The green color pigment. The green color pigment that is present in chloroplast. What do you call that? Yes, it is called as chlorophyll, right? It is called as chlorophyll, right? So it is a green color pigment which is present in the leaves. So see, if we see like this is the structure of the chloroplast, okay? So it consists of thylakoids which looks like piles of coin. So it looks like piles of coins, okay? Yes, let me draw it. So like this, it is continuous inside the inner membrane. Okay. So see, this is how it is. Now here you will find the genetic material also. The chloroplast also has the genetic material. That is, they have their own genetic material. That's why they are semi-autonomous cell organelle. So they have their own genetic material, that is DNA. They have DNA. Okay. Now see. So what it is known as? This is known as what? These are known as thylakoids. Okay. These are known as thylakoids. Now this thylakoids, how it looks like? It looks like the piles of coin. So have you ever collected the 1 rupee coins and kept one above another? How it will look like? So exactly it looks like that. That is the piles of coins. Okay. So see, thylakoid looks like the piles of coins, and this where the thylakoids are arranged. So this is known as what? Where the thylakoids are arranged, this together is known as the grana. Okay. This together is known as the grana. Now, inside the inner membrane, the full place, that is, it consists of what? The matrix is known as the stroma. Okay. Now that is the chloroplast also contains what? It also contains the ribosomes. Okay. It also contains what? It also contains these red dots are what? These red dots are nothing but the ribosomes. They also contain what? They also contain ribosome. So in case of this chloroplast, the ribosome is 70S. Okay. In case of chloroplast, also the ribosome is 70S. Okay. And these are known as the structures. Okay, as you can see, the structures, isn't it? Which is joining the thylakoid. It is known as stroma lamella. Okay, what is this known as? It is known as stroma. It is known as stroma lamella. Okay. Now this inside, whatever the matrix is present, this matrix is known as what? This matrix is known as stroma. Okay. This matrix is known as stroma. Is that clear? So this is how the structure of the chloroplast looks like if you see it under the microscope. Now basically we are talking about plastid. So do you know what are the three types of plastids? There are three types of plastids. Okay. So how many types of plastids? There are three types of plastids. Okay. So what are the three types of plastids? So the three types of plastids are yes. What are the three types? Chromo one is chromoplast. One is chromoplast. Second one is chloro, CHLORO, chloroplast. The third one is leucoplast. Okay, leucoplast. Now this chromoplast, what is the pigment? What is the color? The pigment of the chromoplast is orange or yellow in color. Okay, so the chromoplast plastids are what? The chromoplast plastids are orange or yellow in color. Okay, so they are orange. They are orange or yellow in color. This chloroplast plastids are what? You know that they contain green color pigment. So they are green in color. So they contain green color pigment. Okay. And this leucoplast are what? This leucoplast are the colorless. Okay. They are colorless plastid. So they are colorless plastid. So these are the three types of plastid. Is that clear? So under this leucoplast, again, this comes that amyloplast. Okay. These are responsible for storage of the food. So now let us study what is this plastid. So as you know that plastid is found only in case of plant cells, okay, and also in case of some euglenoids. Euglenoids are the organisms which are found in the fresh water, okay. So they also contain what? They also contain plastids. So they are responsible for what? They can prepare their own food, right? So they are easily observed under the microscope as they are large. So we can see the plastid, the chloroplast under the microscope because they are larger in size, okay. And the inner membrane of the chloroplast is what? The inner membrane of the chloroplast is smooth, isn't it? They don't have any folded structures. So they bear some specific pigments, thus imparting specific colors to the plant. So they have got various pigments, right? Like orange, green, then red, so that the plants are getting the various colors. So based on the type of pigments, plastids are classified into chloroplast. So see, these are the three types, right? Chloroplast, then chromoplast, right? And leucoplast, isn't it? So these are the three types of plastids. So the chloroplast contains what? Chlorophyll. The chloroplast contain chlorophyll and carotenoid pigments, which are responsible for trapping the light energy, which is essential for photosynthesis. So the chloroplast contain what? The chloroplast contain chlorophyll, which is responsible for trapping the sunlight, trapping the light energy for the process of photosynthesis. That is, they can prepare their own food. So in the chloroplast, fat soluble carotenoid pigments like carotene, okay, then xanthophylls and others are also present, okay. So xanthophyll is a yellow color pigment, okay, that is yellow. It provides yellow pigment to the plants, okay. Carotenoid pigment, it is orange. It is orange. It provides orange color to the plant. So this gives the part that is yellow or orange, as I have written, right? So the carotenoid, which color it is? It provides orange, okay? It is the orange color pigment. And xanthophyll, which color pigment it is? It is a yellow color pigment. Clear? So this is how the structure of the plastid or the chloroplast. Now, what about this leucoplast? The leucoplast, as you know, it is colorless. It is present basically in case of the roots, okay, or in case of the plant, in case of the part of the plant where the food is being stored, okay. So, for example, it is present in case of the roots, okay. So, these are responsible for the storage of the food. So what is the function? They are responsible for the storage of the food. Okay. So they also differ from size, and they also what? They also store nutrition. As I said that they store the food, isn't it? So amyloplast store what? Carbohydrates. So amyloplast, which is a part of the leucoplast, it stores the food, that is the carbohydrate, okay, that is starch. For example, in the potato. So potato is colorless, isn't it? We find it underground. So as I said, that leucoplast is basically the present in the root part of the plant, right? So it is responsible for the storage of the food. So basically in the potato, what is present? Amyloplast is present. So elanoplast, it also stores oil and fats, whereas the leucoplast stores the proteins, okay? It is C, okay? It also stores protein. So this is all about the plastid, that is leucoplast. So as you know that chloroplast, the size of the chloroplast, it will vary, and we know that it is green color pigment, and where it is found? It is found in the mesophyll cells of the leaf, okay? So it is found in the mesophyll cells, okay? It is found where? It is found in the mesophyll. It is found in the mesophyll cell of the leaves. Okay, of the leaves. It is a green color pigment. And what is the shape of the chloroplast? The shape of the chloroplast, it may be lens shape. Okay, it may be lens shape, it may be oval, it may be ribbon shape like structure. Okay, it may be having ribbon shape. So these are the various shapes of the chloroplast. Okay, so see, it may be lens shape, it may be oval, it may be spherical, discoid, or the ribbon shaped. Okay, cell organelles having variable length, and that is the length and the width, that is the size. Okay, that is the size. It varies. The size varies. Okay, from one plant cell to another. So it varies. That is, in case of chlamydomonas, you will see what? You will see one. Okay, in case of chlamydomonas, you will see only one chloroplast, whereas in case of algae, you might say 20 to 40%. Okay, in case of chlamydomonas, you will see only one chloroplast. Okay, only one chloroplast. But in case of algae, as I said, you might see 20 to 40 chloroplasts per cell. Yes. So like mitochondria, we know that chloroplast is also double membrane, right? It has got two membranes, so it is double membrane cell organelle. One of the two, that is the inner chloroplast membrane, is relatively less permeable, whereas the outer membrane is more permeable to the molecules. Okay, so the space limited by the inner membrane of the chloroplast is called the stroma. Okay, so the inner membrane, inside the inner membrane, there is a space which you have seen, right? So that space is known as the stroma. And the number of organized flattened membranous sacs, which are called as thylakoids, we have seen, right? So the thylakoids, that is, if this is the chloroplast, right? This is the chloroplast. So this space, the space inside the chloroplast, inside the inner membrane, what we call it? We call it as stroma, right? We call it a stroma, and we have seen this flattened disc shape like structure. So these are what? These are the thylakoids. Okay, these are the thylakoids. Is that clear? So see, Yes, and present inside the stroma. So thylakoids are present where? Inside the stroma, and they are arranged in the form of piles of coin, which you already know, that is grana, which is responsible for the light reaction. And grana is responsible for light reaction, that is photosynthesis 1 and photosynthesis 2. Photosynthesis 1 and photosynthesis 2. Okay, for the process of photosynthesis. Whereas the stroma, okay, the stroma is responsible for the dark reaction. Okay, the stroma is responsible for the dark reaction in plants, that is for the C3 and the C4 pathway. Okay, for the C3 and the C4 pathway. Clear? So yes, in addition, they also have stroma lamella, which connects the thylakoids to the different grana. Okay, so they also have what? They also have stroma lamella. As you have seen that the thylakoids are connected, right? The thylakoids are connected with the help of this stroma lamella, isn't it? Stroma lamella. So this is the thylakoids. Clear? So next, yes, the membrane of the thylakoids enclose a space which is called as lumen. Okay, so the space is called as lumen. Yes, and the stroma of the chloroplast contain enzymes. So they also contain stroma of the chloroplast. What it contains? It contains enzymes. It contains enzymes which is responsible for the process of photosynthesis. Okay, it is responsible for the process of photosynthesis, and it also contains DNA. It also contains ribosome. We have seen, right? So, and it also has chlorophyll, that is pigment, present in the thylakoid, which is responsible for the preparation of food, and the ribosome is 70S, right? So this is all about the structure of chloroplast, which we have learned. So in today's session, we have completed two important cell organelle. One is mitochondria and another is chloroplast, right? That is plastids. So I hope you have understood all the topic which is discussed in today's session. So if you like this video, do like it and also share it with your friends. So we will learn the next topic, that is the nucleus, in the next class. So till then, take care and bye-bye.